Another, I'm trying to kind of figure out from the little that I know of Teal Swan's methodology and a video that I saw her explaining a spiral of abuse. And if you're looking for the origin of trauma and trying to understand your story, if you walk straight away from the trauma in a straight line, you leave it behind and it doesn't become part of the story. And you spiral away from it, and you get a clearer and clearer idea of what it is. But our lives have many aspects and facets, so you're doing this all at once in a lot of different planes, but they're not actually. Maybe it's all in the same plane and the spirals are intersecting and the traumas are in different places. You're moving away from all of them in spirals. And that connected with something that Lewis Carroll wrote about it connects in a very forwards-backwards way with something he wrote about evil as living backwards. Evil as live backwards. EVILLIVE. And because one day, it was the day before, that little boy, his name was Fred Young, who was lost in Saskatchewan. The day before, I'd woken up and was lying in bed in kind of alpha wavy state, and I felt the most intense despair. I never ever felt anything like it. It was so intense that it just made me feel small. I perhaps because I've never really experienced despair in all my life. There's always been a large part of me my despair was just about certain things, but in this point it was total. It was total despair. And then when I heard the story of that little boy, and I imagined what his life had been like the last few months, I don't know, I really felt it. I'm trying not to make this sound callous, but now when I sat down here and thought about it again, it was very, very short-lived. It was like a bright, it was a real emotional, it was an emotional eye of the duck moment for me. I've never ever experienced anything like that before. And I was thinking about something that I said which sounded to me stupid. Recently, thinking about the gangland stuff that goes on in Mexico. Last night there was a big funeral. There's a funeral parlour just along the road from that lion, and there were a lot of people as we passed, and I don't know, somebody told me that there was a kind of gang war going on. And I remembered the lecture that I went to with this Jungian analyst. I can't remember his name. I can look it up somehow. I was sitting next to Ursula King. It was in 1991. Must have been January 1991. And he was talking about peak experiences. And I said that, I said something crazy, like, I thought even criminals must be able to have peak experiences, or experiences where suddenly for no reason you experience joy. In some small, tiny thing, kind of spontaneous joy. But that intense despair that I felt the other morning, because it was just total and over. It had no consequences. It's a bit like, I suppose, after a piece of paper burns, you sometimes get a hot edge of flame that burns through the carbon. So even after the flame's gone out, there's a burning fire that spreads. Through the black carbon. It was like that final spark. I'm not wrapping this up very well, but there's a kind of unity of opposites going on here. And the funny thing that Lewis Carroll wrote was about maximizing, about drawing out misery and getting over, passing pleasure as quickly as possible. I need to think about it some more. So you have all these spirals, getting back to Teal Swan's idea, there are all these vortices of spiraling away from trauma, and they all intersect. And maybe there's some sense in which at some points you get a unity of opposites occurring on two different planes. If you also remember that we're really all the same being, maybe James Clerk Maxwell did the mathematics to deal with this. Maybe it's all electromagnetism. That would be a fun project to work on.